What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Traders Brawl podcast, Fitness with Financial Freedom, first of its kind in Dubai. This podcast talk show is always here to interview guests who are in the entrepreneur space, startups, bridging blockchain with other interesting innovations in the space. So today we're going to be interviewing my very special guest and good friend, Danosch Zahedi from Arts DAO, which we'll leave all the information about their upcoming wonderful festival that's going to blow your mind. But before we get to that, I'm Adel, I'm the host, and let's welcome and put our hands together for Danosch. So Danosch, how are you doing?
I'm good, man, I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, man, stressful times, I'll be honest. I'm more stressed now because of April coming up.
Because of Arts DAO Fest?
Because of Arts DAO Fest, 100%. But because of all the side events that are taking place during Token 2049. The same time period in April being that the Bitcoin halving will be happening, as well as right now we're in a bull market. So lots of crazy stuff is going to take place, and it's going to be very hectic in April. And we just have just about whatever we can do right now to prep before the craziness takes over. So that's where I'm at. Where are you at?
Well, I'm in a similar situation. Obviously, we have our own event coming up on the 21st of April, and we're just 1 month away. And I usually tell people doing a festival is almost like building a rocket ship, and it has to take off on a certain date, and you will board that rocket ship regardless if you want or not on that date. Now it's your job to make sure that it's ready for liftoff. If it's not, that's your fault, but there's nothing that's going to stop it from not taking off.
Well said. I think that's really well put. It's a commitment thing, and you can't back down. Now, taking us back to Arts DAO Fest. Before we get to that, who are you? And give a little introduction to our audience.
Sure. My name is Danosch. I was born and raised in Sweden. Originally, I'm Persian. I've been in Dubai for the last, I think, 8 years now. Time really flies. I founded Arts DAO together with Anas back in 2021. So 3 years ago we founded Arts DAO. Initially the plan was to onboard traditional artists into Web3 and almost accelerate them on the launch pad. And then eventually we decided that as we were exploring the space, interviewing people, because we had our own podcast called the Crypto Shares Podcast, as we were exploring the space and interviewing people in the NFT space, we found it very fascinating. So we decided to have a meetup just to meet with like-minded people. So our goal was never to start a community. It was just to connect with other people interested. And actually, it was Zayan, who's part of our team now, who reached out to us through Christelle, the artist behind our NFT collection. So everything, came back full circle eventually. But she was the first person to kind of reach out to us, say, "Hey guys, this guy reached out to me, wanted to do a meetup at my studio. Do you guys want to do it?" And that's how it all started. Right.
And also, quick introduction, I am a holder of the Arts DAO token, so I hold one of your NFTs, and I've been to your events, and it's the community always comes first, which is, I've seen that. So to my next question, actually, you're building a festival that bridges technology with art and culture and fashion and all these things. Must be very exciting, but also quite terrifying. How are you doing this, and how are you making it possible?
Terrifying is a good word to describe it. It's always terrifying because every time we do something, we are doing something that we've never done before. And every time we're like, how do we make this happen? And it almost feels like a momentous task. I always tell the team members, look, this is like climbing the Mount Everest. Going from 0 to base camp 1 is easy, then going to the second base camp is a little bit harder. The last mile is always the hardest. So, managing everything is of course always a challenge. There's multiple streams that needs to be managed: speakers, sponsors, sales, partnerships, media partnerships, ticketing, marketing. And then marketing is a whole another jungle in and of itself. So yeah, we're managing, but luckily we have a fantastic team. And we have proven in the past that we're able to pull off really, really cool events. But bridging, tech and art, the reason why we decided to do that was because we saw there was a lot of great events happening over in the US, South by Southwest, Art Basel, NFT NYC. But then we were looking at the Middle East and Asia, and we saw that there's no one doing anything really relevant here in this region. And most of the events that we participated in as visitors, we felt that it was always the same speakers, the same topics, the same panels, the same discussions. It was never about creating an immersive, engaging, fun experience. Right. And we wanted to change that. And we believe right now, with all the amazing technological developments that are happening with AI, with Web3, there's so much cool things to show that people haven't seen, and we want to blend that with entertainment. We want to blend that with we want to create a festival where people can come, they can grab some drinks, some food, listen to music, listen to great speakers, and also go and experience really cool technologies.
Interesting. It's really cool. It's unique because I go to many events, many Web3 events, because Dubai has become like the crypto hub. But rarely do I ever see a festival, like a Web3 festival. So initially this was like, wow. So I was thinking, how is this going to happen? There's going to be music, there's going to be like Armin van Buuren, DJs, but then at the same time, in my head, I'm just thinking in my own head, but at the same time, you can actually learn. You're not just high on drugs and living that DJ life. You can still learn. You can interact. You can take, exchange business cards. So, and the first one was a real success. How would you describe the first one? Of course, it was a success, but how would you describe it?
So the first one for us was a proof of concept.
Right.
We did everything in less than 3 months, which was absolutely insane. So in the beginning, we started reaching out to events management companies, and no one wanted to work with us. They were like, guys, we cannot do this in 3 months. And then eventually we found one partner that was going to help us, but still, most of the workload was still on our team. And we did everything from the sales to the event management, planning, execution in less than 3 months, which was really, really hectic. However, the outcome was a really cool event. So we had people that came to the event. We've lived in Dubai for 15 years. One of the guys from our community said, guys, this is by far one of the most fun events I've ever been to. So to hear that gave us the motivation to want to really do it again and do it on a much bigger scale. I say bigger scale is because we never settled down. Like, we always loved to make life difficult for ourselves. We always set really high goals, almost unachievable goals, and then we try to really make sure that we can deliver on those.
Right. Interesting. Now, when it comes to like the sponsorship side of things, so Arts DAO Fest 1 was a proof of concept. Now, the second one coming up, has the proof of concept has it made it easier to secure sponsorships? Or give us the little reality reel. How is it when it comes to securing sponsorships?
Securing sponsorship is like climbing a ladder, right? And the more steps you take, the better sponsors you can speak with. So obviously the first year was challenging for us, but eventually we managed to land Ledger, which was the biggest sponsor for us. And that was a great kind of achievement, to have a big brand. Yes. Now, obviously, now that we have that proof of concept in the bag, it's much easier for us now to go and speak with sponsors. However, I would say that it's still not an easy job. The sales job is tough. You have to persist, you have to push through. People have spent money elsewhere. Some people have already spent on other events in the same month. There's Token 2049 happening. There's a lot of competing events, right? But the brands that want to target our audience, that want to target a younger demographic of internet citizens, people that are passionate about internet culture, about gaming, about NFTs, those brands are easier for us to convince.
Very nice. As you said, there are also a lot of competing events. So, for a sponsor normally has limited resources and budget. They themselves, from their perspective, have to be quite strategic about, okay, there's so many events happening during Token 2049, so many side events. X here, X on 17th, 18th, and then 20. Obviously, yours is after Token 2049. So from a sponsorship perspective, for you to win them versus all these other competing events, right? Do you have a way that makes you stand out the most? Because from their perspective, they listen to pitches all the time. Oh, here's their pitch. Here another pitch. Oh, we're the most unique event you'll ever see. We're the most unique. Is there a way that you've tried to convince them a tactic that you use that really works?
To be honest, I don't see Arts DAO Fest as a side event to Token 2049. They are it happens that their event is on a Thursday and a Friday. Our event is on a Saturday and Sunday. I sometimes jokingly tell people Token is actually a side event to us. So yes, there are other events happening around that week, and there's a lot of smaller events, but I don't really see them as a competition. The only competing event for our attention is Token, because obviously they've been around for much longer, they have a much longer track record. However, what I tell people is that the benefit that you will have in participating in Arts DAO Fest is that one, you're not one of 300 companies. You will be one of 30 companies. And the amount of people that will come to our event is going to be very similar to the amount of people that comes to Token. Now they're going to say, well, it's the same audience that comes to Token that comes to Arts DAO Fest. That is not entirely true. The reason for that is, in order to be able to go to Token, you need to buy a ticket for $1,000. Now, how many people can actually afford that, right? We are targeting the mass audience, the mass market of people that a lot of these brands actually want to target, not just the investors and the VCs. In order to be able to come to our event, you can come with, by buying a ticket for $50 or $100. It's much more affordable. It's much more easy to access. And the people that come to Token, a lot of them will also come to Arts DAO Fest, but a lot of the people that come to Arts DAO Fest will not necessarily go to Token.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Affordability, 100%. Dubai is a very price-sensitive market. I know that because tickets and living here is already expensive. But who's going to pay, 4 figures for a ticket just for 2 days? Now, the thing is as well, I will also mention from my side, when you have a huge event, I won't say names, when you have huge events, what tends to happen is too much is going on that it's not cozy enough to really interact. There's so much going on that there's over 1,000 booths. How am I you have to be so strategic of your time and your 2 days with which booths to target. But when you go to a more niche focused event, which is we're here about this particular thing, then there's that more cozy vibe. Then you're like, okay, I have the ability to now, I'm here for this reason. I don't feel stressed that I'm missing out on that booth. I'm missing out on there. So that's my personal perspective. What do you think of that?
That's very true. So Raheem was also part of our team. He said, one of the things that he said that we're now using in our marketing is we bring the side event energy into the main event. So what happens with a lot of events abroad, like NFT Paris, NFT NYC, people travel to all these events just to attend the side events. It loses its purpose and whole point. And we want to change that. We want to bring so much of a fun vibe and experience to the main event so that people have no reason to travel to Dubai to just go to the side events. We want them to come to Arts DAO Fest. We want people to come for the art, for whatever it is, but stay for the culture, stay for the entertainment, stay for the fun vibes. And that's what I believe we did well last time, which is why when people come, they stick around for longer. They bring their friends, they bring their families, they hang around for longer, they stay for the entertainment, they have fun, they grab a drink, they grab some food from the food trucks. And if they do that, the brands that are participating will also have a better chance of interacting with these people because they will be more interested and open to those interactions.
Let's talk collaborations now for the event. Can you give us a sneak peek of what sort of artists are coming, or music, whether it's art artists or music artists, fashion, entertainment, after parties? Can you give us a sneak peek of what's to come?
Yeah, so for the after party, That's something.
Straight to that. Forget what I just said.
Forget about the rest. The only thing I'm excited about is the after party. We're gonna have some really cool DJs for the after party. I can't disclose the names yet because we haven't signed the contracts, but that's gonna be really exciting. In terms of some of the big brands that we're right now in talks with for the main event, it's brands like Yuga Labs, like Animoca brands, Polkadot, but we also secured Linnea, which is one of the bigger kind of blockchains run by Consensus that also owns MetaMask. And we also have confirmation from eToro. They will be a sponsor at the event. They want to participate in a big way. Samsung is going to be there. Wow. So we have a lot of Web2 brands, which I'm very excited about. What I'm really excited about is the open call for artists that we have. And that is in collaboration with Forbes. So Forbes magazine have partnered with us, where they will do a spotlight of the 10 selected winners in the open call that we do, and they will highlight them in their magazine.
Very nice, very cool. Definitely caught my attention with these big names. Web2 brands are definitely the way to go forward because the bridge, there's more people, let's be honest, there are more people in Web2 than there are in Web3. So to get that migration, it's good to make peace with Web2 companies. They're not the enemy.
Exactly.
Especially governments, not to mention governments. But no, Samsung shows some great names. And in terms of, let's talk a bit about food now, because I'm a foodie. I'm not going to be on a diet on that day.
Good.
Is that gonna be a good thing?
That's definitely going to be a good thing. We're going to have 7 food trucks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's going to be a variety of different foods, ranging from burgers to vegan food to Asian food.
Oh, nice.
They're Bored and Hungry, so the IP from Yuga Labs. So they have a food truck brand, Bored and Hungry. They're going to be present at the fest.
Oh, wow.
So and they do really cool burgers, right? So a big focus for us is to bring high quality food. So we work with Kitopi and to do that. And also make it culturally relevant.
Let's talk a bit about the management now, because this is all very exciting stuff. Now, in terms of the management, I heard there was a slight management restructure. In terms of, did you move positions from COO to CEO? Is that right?
Well, it hasn't been announced yet.
Okay, it's okay. That's all right. We don't have to.
But by the time this podcast is out, it's probably announced.
Probably announced.
Yeah.
How has that transition been? Has that been a transition for you?
So I think, when you operate in a small team, many times a lot of the roles and responsibilities kind of intertwined anyway.
Right.
And I was always dipping my toes and fingers into everything in the business. So for me, the transition was quite easy.
Okay, that's good. Because as I understand it, every art startup, you're right. Roles are just labels, because it's not so much bureaucracy when you're managing a very small team, but still very effective at delivering. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, and I guess the roles and responsibilities are probably more or less the same. But I guess the pressure, right? The pressure is still on, and even more probably, because now there's probably more on your shoulders. And securing sponsorship. So my next question now is, what is your biggest stress pre-event right now? So
right now, it's not so much of a stress. I try to be level-headed, but it's all if you would have asked me 2 months ago, I would have said my biggest stress is that I've committed to huge amounts in terms of production costs and event costs and executing this event, and this is a commitment up front. I've been working in so many different industries my whole life, and I would say running events, especially if you're not funding it yourself up front, is probably the most stressful thing, because you commit to, let's say, whether it's $500,000 or $1 million, whatever that amount is, up front.
As in deposit and everything.
You don't deposit it because you have payment terms with these vendors and suppliers, but you need to honor those commitments, right? And then, the race starts. So now the race to get the sponsors and fill those numbers starts. So that's a massive stress. And then on top of that, you need to make sure that tickets sell out so that you keep your sponsors happy. You need to make sure that you have the right marketing campaigns in place, the right collaborations with media partnerships, with communities, with influencers. You get the right speakers. So yeah, it's all like a massive ball of stress. But as you do this more and more times, you start to develop kind of a way to deal and cope with that stress.
Interesting. Are you using any AI tools to help with the management of everything, like to streamline, structure things, anything like that?
Not really.
Not really.
No, not yet. I would love to, after Arts DAO Fest, to dive deeper into AI tools and see how we can benefit more from it, because there's so many fantastic tools out there, but not right now.
So coming back to Arts DAO Fest, this is your second time. By the way, before this role, did you ever organize events before?
So before Arts DAO, no.
Oh, wow.
No. So actually, no one in our team did.
I love that.
It just, like everything with Arts DAO was like everything we did, whether it was the NFT collection, whether it was the community, whether it was anything we did, was the first time for all of us, even the events. And I think one thing we realized early on was that a lot of these events that we were throwing, people actually loved them. They liked what we were doing. They liked the vibes, the energy. And I think when you have a strong team, people with good backgrounds, it doesn't have to be events. Events are like any other project. If you're used to managing projects in corporates, in startups, whatever your background is, this is just an extension of that.
I'm going to ask you a two-pronged question about Arts DAO Fest, the last one, because that's the last one we have knowledge about. What has been the best feedback you have received about it, and what has been the worst feedback you have received about it?
About Arts DAO Fest?
Yeah.
Well, the best feedback was the day after the fest, when our WhatsApp group with the community just went crazy. Like everyone was just raving about how much they loved it, how great it was, how it was above their expectations, and it just felt so good because you spent, so many months beforehand. And with the last fest, yes, we were starting at 3 months ahead, and we were literally like working day and night for 3 months. This fest has been a longer kind of run, but the dopamine kick that you get after that is just, it's undescribable. And you do it for just that one fitting, and then you're like, is that it?
Yeah.
You worked so hard for so long, just for this
2 days.
Day. Yeah. And then, when you do events, there's so many things that go wrong in the background that people don't see because you're managing it, right? So we had one challenge with one of our sponsors. They came in quite late in the whole process, and then because they came in late and they had all these wild ideas, and they had a great ideas, right? We wanted to execute. Then when they were getting quotes from the production companies, the quotes was really high for what they wanted to do. Then in the end, we managed to solve for that. So actually their feedback was positive in the end anyways, but there was one other company, and this was a feedback that we took. So we had on the second floor of the event, we had a gallery. Now, what we were expecting at the event was that everyone that came to the main floor would also go up to the second floor.
Yes.
And obviously they had spent money on this and they had a really cool installation, but then they didn't get the foot flow that they were expecting. So the feedback to us was like, guys, we were expecting more from you. And then we tried to manage the situation by going on stage and talking about it, but that also didn't work out well. So I think from all of the feedbacks, that was probably one of the most kind of negative feedbacks that we received. And we learned that, next time, if you have a paying sponsor, it should all be centered to the main hall.
No, it's humbling to hear. I thought you would say there was no bad feedback at all. But no, I'm joking. It's humbling to hear that you accepted that and you're happy to share that, because first time, there's always going to be first times for everything.
Yeah.
I myself, I was not in the second floor. I was downstairs. See, I was one of them. Yeah. So, and I was also shooting the podcast as well. That was fun. Yeah, really interesting point there. And I guess, back to the point about this is your first time for like you and the whole team ever doing something like this. So second time round, how are you feeling about raising the bar? Because obviously different agenda. We haven't told the audience where the agenda is. Could you do the honors?
Yeah, so the venue is called The Agenda.
The Agenda.
Just to be,
no pun intended.
Just to confuse people, right?
Yeah.
It's a really cool venue that's been around for almost 1.5, 2 years. Porsche just recently did a really big VIP event there. There's been loads of big performances by stand-up comedians, DJs, and other type of performers. They've also hosted some really big club nights. It's a super big venue, and it's perfectly suited to throw an event like this because it's indoors. So we're going to play around a lot with the lights, with mapping of different visuals around the venue. So we're going to transform that venue into a fully fledged internet culture festival for 2 days. It's located in a place called Media City. So it's there's a easy access with metro. There's a huge parking lot outside. So coming in and out and accessing the event is quite easy.
Very nice. Now looking ahead, going into the future, do you see Arts DAO Fest being a recurring event every year, once a year? And do you see this ever becoming, I don't know, one day sold to a festival company or an events company? What's your exit, or not yet planned ahead?
Yeah, I haven't really planned on any exit for Arts DAO Fest. Definitely there is the possibilities of doing that, but before I even think about that, I'm so busy about making sure that we have a good product, because if you create and if you spend your time and energy in creating a good product, the rest will automatically come and happen as it's supposed to unfold. But for me, the vision with Arts DAO Fest has always been, I want to turn this into the Seoul DXB of Web3, or let's say like the Tomorrowland of Web3. Maybe Tomorrowland is a stretch because it's more focused on music. However, we want to make this a fun festival with music and of course brand activations. Where we will be in 5 years, it's really hard to say.
Yeah, 100%. And being located in the UAE, where it's a fairly relatively Muslim country, have you received any feedback regarding like, oh, there's going to be music, there's going to be women, there's going to be lots of DJ and stuff. This is not the vibe that Emiratis want to participate in, or people who are faithful want to participate. Have you ever received feedback about that, and how have you overcome that?
You know, the good thing about the UAE is that it's a very inclusive place and very tolerant place. And thanks to the vision of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, this place is a place for everyone. Luckily we don't live in a place. Dubai is not a place where if you throw a party, people are going to be like, hey man, this is a Muslim country, what the hell are you doing? No, it's not like that. Dubai is a place where anyone can come, have fun. It's almost like the Las Vegas of Middle East, to be honest. And we are just one subculture, one event within the wider spectrum of all events that are happening in Dubai. We're not having, strippers on the stage. Although I know you would love to perform, Adel.
Whoa! don't expose me like that.
So yeah, we're keeping it halal, we're keeping it kosher, we're keeping it within the rules and laws of this country. And
final question for the audience and for the NFT holders out there who are, people who are not, I'll say this, I'll rephrase. Those who are still in the Web2 space and are intimidated by what is Web3, what is blockchain, what is all this mess about, what is decentralized? What would be your message to them to share why they should come and participate at the Arts DAO Fest?
That's a fantastic question. And I'm very happy that you asked that question, because there is a lot of people that feel that, and rightfully so, that Web3 NFTs, it's like a bubble. It's like scammy bubble or whatever pre-made conception they have about this space. it's a knowledge barrier, right? So we're gonna have a lot of workshops that breaks down, blockchain 101, what is NFTs, what is crypto, how can you get into the space, how can you make a career out of this, just to help onboard more of the masses. Because for me and the team, it's really important that this is not just an event for crypto people. So that is also why we have Web2 brands. And what is Web3? Like, the fact that we're talking about Web3, most people don't even know what Web3 means. I hired a personal assistant yesterday, and I was like, do you know what, because I was talking about Web3, I was like, wait a second, do you even know what Web3 means?
God.
And she's like, no, can you please explain it to me? So I had to, break it down.
Yeah. Well, Danosch, I look forward to the wonderful event that you've just described. I'm already in, so Danosch, any final words that you want to make?
Make sure you come to Arts DAO Fest on 21st of April. If you're in Dubai, this is the event to be in, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Even if you just come for the food, even if you just come for the music, even if you just come to learn something new about Web3, blockchain, crypto, or to just have an amazing time, you're most welcome. And you can find our tickets on Platinum List or on artsdaofest.com.
That's it. So we'll leave all the links in the description so you can get your tickets before April 20.
Yes.
What was the last date they can buy their ticket?
I think not before 19th, just to make sure that they get them. But I would say the earlier you get, the more chances you will have of actually being able to secure your tickets.
Danosch, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adel. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for following the space. I hope you found this insightful, bridging technology with art and culture. So this is an event you don't want to miss. Thank you again for watching, and we will see you next time. Cheers.
Ciao.